I have had this Bachmann F7B unit for quite some time. It came from a second-hand hobby shop I visited on a trip to Michigan in 2018 or so, if memory serves. The Bachmann F units are pretty solid things, but this one has a slight issue. During the filming of Tea Moonshine Part 9, this thing appeared pulling Sheriff Panko around. At one point I left the layout room to take a breather, but I must have accidentally bumped my throttle. I came back to find the thing running up against a set of Scale-Train's GE diesels. I estimate it was pushing hard against that brick wall for up to 30 minutes or so. While it did run afterwards, it never was quite right. The drive shaft on one end seemed to come apart now and then. The trouble spot seemed to be the universal joint on the gear tower. I looked at the Bachmann parts site and found that part is sold as part of a gearbox and truck assembly. I decided to order 2 assemblies and replace both. Here we go. To get into this model, one takes out 4 screws that holds the shell to the chassis. These are found deep in holes at the corners of the fuel tank. The chassis of this model is basically one solid die-cast block, so to access the mechanism I will have to remove both the speaker and decoder. The speaker is held under a baffle by 2 screws. The decoder is held to a pair of plastic mounts by 2 screws, and the mounts are connected to the chassis by 2 screws each. Wires from each truck supply the power to the decoder. They connect to the board by way of plastic clips that slide over contact points. While some modelers will tell you to just toss the plastic and solder the wires right to the pads, I'll keep the clips for now. With the wires free, all I need to do to remove the old gear tower and truck assembly is remove the screw going from the top of the chassis to the gear tower. There we go, one truck and gear tower with the drive shaft coming along. This whole assembly gets replaced with this. Almost identical, though I will have to feed the wires slightly differently. First thing is to feed the track power wires through the holes in the chassis. Then I make sure the drive shaft goes into the motor flywheel. I try to make sure the wires don't get pinched between the chassis, and screw the new assembly in from the top as intended. The wires connect to the board like the old ones did. The exposed end of the wire slips through the hole and is folded over. Then the clip is slid on and holds it in place. I kept the red and black wires in the same orientation as they were originally. I went ahead and placed the speaker back on the chassis. The speaker itself does not attach to the chassis, but the baffle does and holds the speaker in place. The worst part of it is trying to wrangle the speaker wires through the little gap in the baffle. Now for the other side. Same process. Disconnect the wires, unscrew the assembly from the chassis, drop the truck assembly out, put the new one in, feed the wires for it, and the truck I just installed has fallen out. Yeah, that's how it goes, isn't it? I'll deal with that one when I finish this one. I had to do a little fiddling as the wires kept getting in the way. About here is where I realized I had the wires going in such a way that they might make contact with the drive shaft, which is just asking for trouble. I backed the screw out and adjusted the wires so they would not be near any rapidly spinning moving parts. I knew I would have to do this to the first truck as well. After a few minutes of wire management, I got the wires into a happy place. I then got the assembly all set up by screwing it into place and connecting the wires. I then went to see what happened to the first truck. I guess I didn't have it screwed in right. Somewhere in a previous repair job, a screw went missing and I replaced it with one I found. Whether that was the right screw or not, I have no idea, but it seemed to work. Anyways, once that truck and gear tower assembly was secure, it was just a matter of connecting the wires and reassembling the locomotive. Speaker went in place, decoder mounts went in place, decoder went in place, etc. I did also have to tug on some wires here and there to draw them out of the mechanical spaces as much as possible. Before mounting the shell, I did a quick test run. That wobble scared me for a moment, but it was just a derailment. The thing ran fine once the wheels were actually where they needed to be. I put a little grease on the gears and oil on the bearings, then did another quick test. I'm satisfied. Time to put the shell back on. I made sure the orientation is correct, or at least so that the front of the chassis aligns with what I think is the front of the shell. 4 screws in and the job is done. One more test run altogether. The locomotive made it through the number 4 switches. It's good for a road test. Unless a real run on a layout shows some major flaw, that's it. There she is. New trucks underneath, old trucks next to it. I was inspecting the universal joint and there it is. Cracked. That explains just about everything. It explains why the drive shaft would quit turning the wheels on the trucks. Without a firm grip on the worm gear, the universal joint just slides off and the truck loses power. The side frames of the trucks look just a tad different, so I might see if I can swap those over in future. In the meantime, a damaged locomotive should now be repaired. That's part of the territory of running these things. When they break, you gotta fix them, retire them, or junk them. In this case, the fix was a tad fiddly, but not difficult at all. On the real railroads, the locomotives all need mechanical attention from time to time. The models are more forgiving, but still like a little love now and then. Stay safe out there, and enjoy this great hobby of ours.